And welcome to Capital Talk, a program we hope will have an impact on the future of Kenya. And now more than ever, I'm Jeff Koinange. Now all this week, if you've been watching Capital Talk, you know the theme: young, gifted, and Kenyan. That's right. And what a story we have for you on the bench today. Sit back, because this young lady is not only absolutely gorgeous, and I can say this without fear or favor. I tell you, way back, let's go back to about 2000 when she was working at Capital, Miss India Kenya. That's right, you probably know who it is. And she was a big star at Capital, then left, went to KISS, came back to Capital, left there, and started her own thing. Everything is surrounded by the word pink. That's right, she has her own company called Pink Inc., brand management, the works. She has a charity called People in Need, whatever, something like that. She'll tell me, Pink. And also a whole bunch of charities. She's doing a lot of people-oriented stuff because she thinks this country could do so much better. We could be in a much more positive place. There's so much negativity around this country and its people, and things can be a lot better. That's why she's out there spreading the message of being positive. I tell you, sit back. This one's a winner. None other than Pinky Ghelani Raj. Pinky?
Hi.
Good to see you on the bench.
Nice to see you.
First time ever. You've never been on the bench.
No, I've never.
Look.
I'm so honored. Finally.
Yeah. All this beauty. What took us so long?
I know. It's lacking, Jeff.
All right. So let's go back. 2000. Let's go to that Miss India Kenya contest thing. What made you enter?
Well, let me try and remember. A lot of people were talking about it. At that time, I was probably one of the only Asian models on the scene. So the organizers called me and said, "Oh, you have to do it." And I was like, "Yeah, of course I have to do it. This is fun. And of course I'm going to win." But there was, tough competition.
Yeah.
I was a bit arrogant at that time, but I don't know how lucky I was to have won it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going in, you obviously had that feeling, I'm going to win.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, Jeff, come on,
Yeah.
you know this business. You cannot not be in it to not win it. You have to be in it to win it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they finally announced your name, was it kind of obvious or were you a little shocked?
You know what happened was the top 5, I think, they were very good contestants. Unfortunately, one of them passed away about 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, she was my first runner-up. And all very strong in their own way, they're very nice girls and everything. So we all had numbers, as contestants. And when the MC said, "And the winner is," and the whole crowd started saying, "Number 10," and that was me. And I was like, "Oh my God, is it me? Is it me?" Because the question and answer round is the biggest deal, especially when it comes to pageants. And I was expecting, brain surgery question. But the question was, what is your passion and why? And I went blank. I remember going blank on stage and thinking, this is so easy, but why can't I answer it?
Right.
And all sorts of things run through your head at that moment, because I'm thinking my animals, my radio at that time.
Yeah.
So I just said life is my passion. No, I said actually dreams are my passion, because I believe you can make your dreams come true. But I don't think it was strong enough, especially to win the title. So that's where I lost my confidence. But luckily I won it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
So then after that, you were still at Capital then, right?
Capital FM, yeah.
Was that good fun? Did you enjoy that?
I love radio.
Yeah.
Totally.
So why did you walk away from all that, Pinky? I mean, you were the voice of radio, especially for the Indian community in Kenya, man. And we don't have too many stars in radio or TV who come from where you come from. Why walk away?
Well, Jeff, it got to a point where it became very ugly and it became very competitive. And I was in a place where I felt I was not being challenged anymore. I could go on radio and say whatever I wanted to say and nobody would come in and say, "Why did you say that?" Not that it wasn't fun. I mean, who doesn't enjoy the thrill of being live on air? It's amazing. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the response I was getting from the people who were listening. I mean, still till today, people write to me on Facebook and say, "We miss you on Capital FM," and that it makes such a difference in my life. But I felt that I was not doing any favors to anyone around me because I was not in a good place, and I was frustrated and I was taking my frustrations out on everyone around me, and I was not growing. And having been in radio for over 7 years at that time, I just felt that I needed a bigger challenge and it was not coming.
That's a very bold move, Pinky. I mean, not many people would walk away from something like that. You had the world was at your beck and call.
But still at my beck and call.
Well, absolutely.
I mean, when Jeff Koinange calls you, it means the world is at your beck and call.
She is terrible. But honestly, you did that because, like you say, you were not in a good place. Are you in a good place now?
I'm in a much better place. It's taken me a long time to come out of the ugly. Because everyone thinks, oh, glamour, fame, all that glitters is not gold. That is so true. It's taken me a while to get to where I am, because after that I turned into meditation and being more spiritual and finding myself, because I really feel I had lost myself. I was yelling at people for no reason at all. I was being a diva, and I got a reputation for that, which I don't mind. I mean, it's always good to be known as a diva. Yeah. But I just felt that was not me. Yeah.
Would you go back to it? I guess is the obvious question.
I would, given a good opportunity.
Yeah.
I would go back to it, but only because, like I said, I loved the live radio, and I loved the silly things that I could do on radio, which is be fun and be positive, because I feel that the media needs to be a lot more positive. And but there are younger, more talented, more professional people on the scene now, and they also need the room to grow.
Sure.
That opportunity.
Okay, what about the obvious transition then? TV. Would you do TV?
I would do TV. I've not got an opportunity in TV.
I can't believe that.
I promise you I'm not. I wouldn't do news if you're asking
Correct.
me.
You do entertainment.
I would do entertainment.
Yes.
I find news very boring, very negative,
Sure.
again.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that person who delivers that message into your living room every evening. No, not me.
I feel offended.
I'm sorry. That's your job. No, but there are different people for different jobs.
Yes.
And I don't feel that I could do justice to news, because I just don't watch it. I don't watch news, honestly, because it drains my energy.
It's too depressing, right?
Too depressing.
Okay, let me ask you this. And I didn't mention at the top of the show that you do write a weekly column for the Nairobi Star, or the Star, rather.
Fabulous.
Pinky in Bollywood.
Pinky goes to Bollywood.
Pinky goes to Bollywood. Would you want to do the same thing for TV? Something similar to that entertainment stuff?
Yes, but I'd like to do something that has an impact on people's lives. There is the Pinky goes to Bollywood, or the fun, silly, gossipy stuff is very on the surface. Maybe something like Ellen or Oprah or Tyra, because these are people who you're not only informing, you're also educating, and you're changing people's lives. And I feel that's important, and you're doing it all in a fun, positive way. I mean, Ellen gets up and dances, and it makes people feel good.
Yeah.
So feel good, education, information, and change.
Yeah.
And we are at that stage, aren't we? With all these TV stations, the proliferation of TV stations now, we can have a show, an Oprah, an Ellen, a Tyra Banks, a show like that, with people like you.
Well, why not? I mean, if anyone's thinking of doing it, why not? I would be very interested. But one thing I found, Jeff, that I never had this issue before, going back to when I was Miss India Kenya, people now have an issue with, but she's Indian.
Really?
Yeah.
And openly, I mean, they voice that opinion.
How can you attract a mass market? You're Indian. And I'm like, I'm Kenyan.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I'm Kenyan. Been born and brought up here. So
this is the problem with some people that I find as well,
Yeah.
Why? I mean, that's such a lame excuse.
Yeah.
But she's Indian. So what?
So what? We contribute to the country.
And you're as Kenyan as the next person.
I am. I speak Kikuyu. Horo aku.
Didn't know. Well done.
And that's why I wanted to do this program, because young, gifted, and Kenyan, and not necessarily people who look like me.
Yeah.
You are Kenyan. everyone who we've been interviewing is Kenyan,
Yeah.
born and bred. That's what we should be pushing, not these other
No.
negativity. I guess we'll come back to the negativity.
Exactly. And it's, I mean, when you look at someone like Obama, cliche, but yes, let's look at him. His father was brought up in Kenya, but he is American. And he says, I'm American, and everyone accepts him to be American. So why can you not accept me to be Kenyan?
We have to get over that.
Need to get over it. Need to move on from that. You know, it's so 2000 and late, as we say.
All right, here's the other thing. Is that why we don't see too many Asians on TV? Because, there's a handful. There could be more. There's so much talent.
I think we see more Asians on TV now than we did a while ago. But again, it's just reading the news. You know, there's nobody who's owning their brand and running with it. And that's what I'm talking about, is owning your brand and running with it. I'm glad that we see a lot more Indians on TV. And I'm glad that these girls and guys are brave enough to go for the auditions, because it's not easy.
No.
You know, when you're in competition with a lot more people, and it's hard. So it's good, and it's good for the media companies to be giving them these opportunities. But it's about relating to the masses. Can they relate to the masses, and can they get their brand to appeal to the rest of Kenya?
I think they can.
Yeah.
Once they break through that mold,
Yeah, why not?
why not?
Yeah, why not?
Right?
Yeah.
Is that what Pink Ink does, this brand management company of yours?
Yes, we cater for the smaller companies, you know, not your big multinationals who can afford big advertising companies. So we've sort of created that, we fill that gap in the market, I feel, where if you're a small company or even a personality and you want to develop your brand, you come to us, you talk to us. We charge you a smaller fee and we actually push your brand for you.
Yeah.
So it's a fancier word for PR marketing. And then with that, of course, it's complemented by the event management company that we have as well.
Right. But your big passion, Pinky, is the charity, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple of those. You got the pink one. Was it People in...
Need in Kenya.
Oh, okay. I almost got that. People in Need in Kenya.
Yeah.
Pink.
Pink.
What does that do?
We are a charity that my charity's been there since 2000, since I was Miss India Kenya, and had the opportunity of traveling all around Kenya, Siaya, Bungoma, you know, you name it, we've been there, and we've managed to help a lot of people. But like I said before, even on giving up the crown as Miss India Kenya, I wanted to follow through with my charities, because you can't just, oh, Jeff, I'll help you, and then I give you a little bit of hope, and then a year later I'm like, Jeff, who, Jeff, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just to continue with that. So we support a lot of different homes, whether it's children or the disabled or women, and we do breast cancer awareness as well, and that's also pink based.
Okay.
Because the color for breast cancer is pink.
Correct.
But we don't take any cash. That's one thing.
So what is it? Just donations, food, and
Clothes,
clothing?
yeah, and textbooks, sanitary pads,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah. So I just use my networks and appeal to people, and thank goodness people are very kind. And yeah, Pinky, I've bought textbooks. Can I drop them off? Can you collect them? And that's what we do. And then from there we go and distribute to different homes who have written to me, Pinky, we need this. And I always say, give me a list of what you need.
Yeah.
And from there, that's how we distribute.
And when you do take these goods to these people, what's the reactions you get? Do they say she's too Indian?
No, not at all.
See, those are real Kenyans.
Yeah, those are real Kenyans. Actually, I've never thought about it. They come, they hug me, we talk. I speak in my really bad Swahili. And, you know, we have conversations, and we sit, we laugh, we chat. You know, it's a whole day that goes by with them. And it's so nice. I hold their babies, and it's very fulfilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, you seem very fulfilled,
Yeah.
but there's something missing.
Is there?
And I want to talk about that after the break. I want to talk about the two tragedies in your life, Pinky, because I think this is what's really made you as a person. It brought you around. And I want to talk about what else is Pinky planning on doing? First we'll take a break. Good grief, is she beautiful or what? Young, gifted, and Kenyan. Not too Indian, It's only the haters who say that. But I tell you, these folks are working just as hard as the next person, and they're just as Kenyan as anyone else because they love this country. The passion is obvious. That's why we have them on the bench. And that's why I don't even think of going away. Capital Talk is back with Pinky, the pink one. Everything's pink. In a moment. And welcome back to Capital Talk. All this week, it's all about young, gifted, and Kenyan. That's right, people who don't necessarily look like me, but believe me, they are as Kenyan, if not more, than some of us. On the bench today, an amazing young lady, former Miss India Kenya, on the radio. She was the voice of Miss India, of the Asians in Kenya for a long time. And then she kind of disappeared, but she's still very much around. Has a weekly column in the Star, Pinky Goes to Bollywood. And she's all the way out there with charities, one after another. She's in a place, she says, that she's comfortable. Pinky Ghelani Raj. Let me not forget the Raj part, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm Mrs. Raj to you. Thank you, Jeff.
And he's a cool guy, this Raj person.
Oh, he's fabulous.
Yeah.
I always, every morning I sort of look up and say, you did well there.
Oh,
yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Well done. Been married, what, a couple of years now?
Yeah, 2 years.
Fantastic.
2.5, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
When you were 6 years old, your dad passed away.
Yes, he did.
Was that a moment in your life? Was that a turning point, if you will?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, for a 6-year-old to comprehend death, it doesn't happen. So, with us, we have these prayers where after someone's passed on, after the funeral and everything, you sort of have prayers at home where there's singing involved. So every time I'd come home from school, I'd think, oh, it's a celebration, he's back. And I'd run in and look for him, and he wasn't there.
Yeah.
But it's amazing because I think I'd love to live my life like how he lived his, because till today, which is 20 some odd years after his death, I meet people and I give them my surname and they're like, are you Natu Ghelani's daughter? I'm like, yes, I am. Oh, he was such a fabulous man. Or, oh, he gave me a Mercedes-Benz. Or, oh, he did this for me. Oh, he gave me a Rolex for Christmas. And this is, we're talking in the 70s.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was just that sort of a guy.
Yeah.
Where people would remember him. And he was very big-hearted as well.
And they still remember him.
And they still remember him till date.
Incredible.
I remember meeting the AG, Amos Wako, and he said to me, Ghelani, and he's like, Natu Ghelani? I'm like, yeah. He's like, he gave me my first job.
No.
Yeah, or something like that. And I was like, wow, oh my God, my father. How cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's someone else I met at a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, do you know your father sold me his plane? And I'm like,
Can I get it back?
yeah, do you mind? Are you done with it now? Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So did you grow up privileged then? Were you a spoiled little brat?
I think my mother tried to keep me very grounded. We had a lot of, my father had a lot of money. I wouldn't say we, because it was his money. And I really believe in making your own money. But because of that, we grew up, we had the what's the word? We were lucky enough to go to private schools and, the good education and everything. We, like I called Mrs. Nyachai Auntie Grace, that sort of a thing.
Yeah.
But again, on the flip side, my mother kept us grounded.
Yeah.
You didn't abuse that, the privilege.
No, we didn't. Because also she was going through her struggle. The family were trying to take the money and blah, blah, blah. And then we lost our house and, it was a lot of drama. Ugh.
Yeah.
Make a movie on it. Bollywood.
There you go. Starring Pinky
Yeah.
Ghelani Raj. All right, so you're heading off to college
Yes.
and you're off to LA and you get there and a week later, some tragic news.
Yeah, my brother passed away. They didn't tell me on the phone. what happened was I went for my orientation and I was feeling really miserable that day. I remember I just need to go back to the flat. And the flat wasn't mine, it was a friend of mine. She was sharing it with somebody from LA. And I walked in and the answering machine beeped and I thought, now why would that be for me? It's obviously for one of them. But I went and I played the message. And it was, "Hi Pinky, this is your cousin who was in the States. Give me a call back, it's urgent." And I called her back and she was like, "You need to go home." And I was like, "What do you mean I need to go home?" She's like, "Your mom's not well." Now, that was the story they had planned. And I was like, "What do you mean my mom's not well?" And just 2 months before that, we had lost an aunt to cancer. So here's me thinking, oh God, my mom has cancer. So I just called her up. And it was 3 o'clock LA time, I think 2 o'clock here, 2 a.m. And she picked up the phone. I said, "What's wrong?" And she was like, "Oh, nothing, I'm just not well. And we've arranged for a ticket, you need to come back." Now, my brother, who passed away, was a hustler. He was a real hustler. He knew people in immigration and all that. So here's me flying back from the States. I get into England, first of all, and I see all my uncles who live in England on the same flight as me, not talking to me. I don't know why they're on the flight. And I'm like, why are they ignoring me? Yeah, well, family, politics, whatever. And I get onto the flight from London to Jomo Kenyatta, and I'm talking to this person. I'm like, oh, my brother will be there at the gate because he knows all these guys at immigration, and I'm sure he'll be there to pick me up. Yeah. So come in 5 a.m, and he's not there. Oh, that's funny. So I go down the stairs and I look out, you know, the glass windows, and I see my eldest brother and his friends, and my brother's not there. So, you know, I get out, push out my suitcases, and first question is, "Where's Raju?" And they were like, "Oh, let's get to the car." And then I remember my eldest brother, his name is Nick, he said to me, he said, "Give me a hug." And I hugged him, and he's like, "Raju had an accident." And the two thoughts that rushed through my mind was, oh God, he's in ICU, and my mom has cancer, and he's no longer with us, were his words that came out of Nick's mouth.
Right.
And I, you know, my knees just went weak and I fell to the floor and I could not believe what I just heard. And then I vowed never to leave this country again, because look at what happens when I leave this country. When I leave my home, somebody dies.
Yeah.
So it's really funny, because when I travel now, I'm like calling home, "Is everyone okay? Is everything okay?" And if they don't answer their phones, panic. Something's gone wrong.
Sure.
Yeah.
How long ago was this?
This was in 1993.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a story. Was it, did that harden you? Did that make you stronger to deal with tragedies in life?
Of course it does. Again, at that time you start looking as to why, and you start praying a lot more, you start talking to God. I think that's when my journey started, with my relationship with the Supreme Being. And then it does toughen you up, but there are things that happen to you where you still, you're not strong enough.
Yeah, it jolts you.
Yeah.
Like Nairobi's very spinning Rumour mill.
Oh yeah.
That one will always be there, Pinky. Though, so you always, I guess, those tragedies prepared you for what you are today, and that's why you are who you are today.
I guess, yes. I mean, but I'm still going through all sorts of ups and downs. But like I said, I'm only human, and I'm sure it's not only me who's going through tragedies or letdowns or upsets. Everyone has their fair share of ups and downs. It's just how you accept it. You don't victimize yourself. You don't say, "Oh, poor me, me, it's all about me." No, it's okay, this has happened to me. How do I accept it and move on? And maybe be a source of strength for someone else.
Are you close to your mother?
Very.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What does she think of what you do?
She's very happy. She doesn't like the papers. Sometimes she's like, "Why have they written this about you?" And it's not true. But she's also, she's a tough cookie. She's sometimes when I'm like, "But Mom, they said this about me," and she's like, "So, get over it." And she's taught me that not everyone's going to like you in this life. You just have to move on.
That's where you get your toughness from.
Get over yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what would you think your dad and your brother would think of what you're doing now, where you've reached in your life?
I'm sure they'd be very happy. Although, having said that, my dad was, old school. Because when I talk to his sisters, they tell me, Pinky, we weren't allowed out of the house in a halter neck. And here's me wearing skimpy, short skirts and going out and everything. So sometimes I think maybe he would have married me off at 21, to someone or the other.
Yeah.
But maybe he would have let me, focus on my own path and make my own mistakes. And I hope he's happy.
Yeah.
Bottom line, are you happy?
I am. I am happy with the decisions that I've made. I'm in a good place. Like I said to you, I'm still finding myself. But I think it's a continuous journey.
Yeah.
You can't say I found myself and that's it. I'm comfortable. Because when you're comfortable, you're complacent.
Sure.
And complacent is dull.
Absolutely. 10 years from now, where would we expect to see Pinky Ghelani Raj?
I'm sort of dabbling in different, scenarios at the moment. I spoke to Joki Dungu one day, and I'm like, I want to get into politics. And she was so excited. She's like, yes, you must, and come and see me and all this. And I was like, but sometimes I think about getting into politics because I feel I can make a difference in this country. And then I look at someone like Nazlan Umar, who had the courage, who is a woman of a different color, and the scandal that surrounds her. I try and steer clear from scandals because I just don't want. But then, if you put yourself out there, it's going to come. It's going to happen. I think politics is very ugly,
Yeah.
and maybe my experience in media showed me how ugly people can get. Maybe it's given me some sort of a foundation to get into politics. But I don't know yet. I don't know. Sometimes I think, as a Kenyan, the only way to make money is to become an MP.
God help us.
But then, like I said, I would like to do it for the good of the country.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd be given an opportunity to do it. And I don't think I'm scheming or, I have a conscience as well.
Yeah.
And look at what I've just said about our politicians. No, politics is, you have to, it's a game you have to play. And
Sure.
I don't know if I have the time or the inclination to play the game.
But change is coming, Pinky. I can feel change is coming, and we're going to need people like you out there driving
Jeff,
that change.
I really hope change is coming because we were hoping for change.
In
Look
07.
look at what happened. And we still have displaced people.
Imagine
And
that.
it's so unfortunate. I mean, when South Africa went to the polls, they said, we're going to have very peaceful elections because look at Kenya. Look at what happened in Kenya. And that's a sentence that nobody should have ever said. It's so sad because we were known as that peace-loving nation. And I remember because at that time I was staying at my in-laws, and they have a Pishi who's a Luo. And he was talking to me, he's like, Pinky, what's going on? And I said, but why are you guys fighting? So he says, no, we have to fight. We have to fight for what's ours and what went wrong. And what. I said, no, you're being incited to fight. But what you don't realize is that from generations from today, your son may want to be the president of this country. You want to give him a great nation. You don't want to give him a country that is war-torn and completely depleted of everything. You want to give him a great nation. And I think this is the message that we as Kenyans, especially the younger generation, we have to know that it's not about now. It's not about 5 minutes from now and filling your pockets now. It's about planning for the future that our children's children need a great nation to live in, and the opportunities that come in living in a great nation.
I couldn't have put it better myself, Pinky. Well done.
Thank you, Jeff.
Good job.
Thank you so much.
keep up the spirit.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much. I appreciate it.
Good grief, not just beautiful, but smart too. Took the words right out of my mouth. It's not about now, it's about the future. Our children's children, and even after that. That's what Pinky Ghelani Raj is saying, and she wants to play a part. Can you see her in Parliament? I can. What a guest, what a show, what a week it's turning out to be on Capital Talk. Can't find these kinds of guests anywhere else. If you're not watching Capital Talk, you're simply not watching television. It's available right here on the award-winning station, K24, where, as always, we are all Kenyan.
All the time. Thank you so much.
Well done.
Thank you.
Capital Talk is recorded at the Fairview Hotel, the country hotel in town.